and welcome back to another exciting episode of Practicing English. And today I'm going to talk to you about that. Exactly. Going to. I'm going to talk about going to. Now, I think the going to structure is something that most learners of English acquire quite quickly. Why? Well, because it's quite intuitive to talk about the future. And we usually feel that if we use going to, we'll always get it right. For example, next weekend, I'm going to take my daughter to the zoo. So we use it then for plans that we make in the future. I'm going to take my daughter to the zoo. But I'm going to talk about another aspect or another use of going to, which is to talk about predictions in the future. And perhaps we can divide the use of going to talk about predictions into two areas. First of all, there are general predictions. In the future, I believe there are going to be cars that can fly. In the future, I believe there are going to be cars that can fly. Now, there's another use of going to, which is more specific and where we can't usually use will. And this is when we have some evidence in front of us which gives us information about what is going to happen. So that's what it is, evidence. It's information. And we can see it, or we can hear it, or we have that information. And when we make a prediction, we use going to. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you a story. Before I start the story, I'm going to give you some vocabulary. And some words that you may need are parachute. And a parachute, that's P-A-R-A-C-H-U-T-E, is something we use when we jump out of an aeroplane. It's a piece of material which opens into a mushroom shape. And so when you jump out of the aeroplane, it helps you float slowly down to the ground. And that's a parachute. Now, another one is a little phrase which is to draw straws. Draw, spelled D-R-A-W, and a straw is S-T-R-A-W. And a straw is like a piece of grass or something like that. And to draw straws is something which, well, I think they do this in most cultures. When you want to decide who gets something out of a number of people. So I could take 3 straws and one of them is shorter than the other 2. So I put them in my fist, that is my hand, which is folded into a ball, that's called a fist. And then each person takes out a straw from my fist. And the one who gets the short straw is usually either the winner or the loser, depending on what you are drawing straws for. Okay, so that's to draw straws. And to draw the short straw usually means that you have been unlucky. Often you get the worst of what is on offer, to draw the short straw. And another word is jungle, which is like the Amazon jungle, for example, or rainforest, which are all those wonderful trees that grow mostly in South America, and we hope they'll be there in the future. That's the jungle. And another one, which is fuel. And fuel is what you put in an aeroplane to make it fly. Without fuel, the engines won't work. So we can use it for a car as well. We can just talk generically about fuel, which could be petrol or diesel that you put into a car. I think, am I right, maybe in believing that in aeroplanes they use something like kerosene or something similar. Anyway, fuel is the word that we usually use. And then there is another expression. Well, it's usually for jokes, in fact, actually. And it goes something like this. I've got some good news and some bad news. Which one do you want first? The good news or the bad news? That means that you have something to tell people and there is something good about it and something bad about it. You will hear that phrase in this story. And here is an exclamation that you will hear, which is, "That's a relief," or "What a relief." And relief is spelled R-E-L-I-E-F. And we say that when we have been worried about something and we then receive some good news or something good happens and we know we don't have to worry any longer. Ooh, that's a relief. Or what a relief. And my last word is lunchbox. L-U-N-C-H-B-O-X. And a lunchbox is just a box you put your lunch in. If you work in an office and you don't go home at lunchtime, you may take some sandwiches and an apple and a piece of chocolate or something with you. When